AP 120, Chapter 15, Topics, Proteins, Vitamins, and Minerals. Proteins, another important nutrient. As we know, proteins are made of long chains of amino acids, so long polymers of amino acids with their amine group, carboxyl group, and that side chain R group that changes and is different from amino acid to amino acid. Proteins are very important because they can act as enzymes, act as hormones, antibodies, clotting factors, so many important functions that proteins fill. In addition, amino acids can be a potential source of energy. So there are essential amino acids we must eat in our food because it cannot be produced by the body. If you eat animal products, then all of these amino acids will be found in those. However, if you are a vegetarian or especially a vegan, then some plants may not produce some of these amino acids, so you want to make sure you have a very diverse diet. So again, there are 8 essential amino acids. You do not need to remember their names. So proteins can also be an energy supply. Amino acids can undergo deamination, that's the removal of the amine group, which then forms urea. Urea is sent to the blood and excreted in urine. And then the remains of the amino acid can enter the cellular respiration process to form ATP. And in addition to that, the amino acid can be converted into fats and carbohydrates as well. So pretty large range of possibilities of what the liver can do with amino acids. So proteins requirements can vary, something like 0.8 grams of protein per day per kilogram of body weight. So something like 60 to 150 grams per day in the forms of beans and meats and poultry, dairy. Vitamins are organic compounds that are required for normal metabolic processes. These are the micronutrients, organic micronutrients. Some vitamins are fat soluble, such as A, D, E, and K, and others are water soluble, the B vitamins and vitamin C. Fat soluble vitamins have a lot of different functions that you don't need to remember. But they can be stored in the body long term because they can be stored in fatty tissue, which of course means that it's possible to overdose on the fat soluble vitamins. So you always want to be careful not to overconsume these vitamins. Water soluble vitamins, on the other hand, are hydrophilic, dissolve in water. They are necessary for many cellular metabolic functions, including the oxidation of carbohydrates, lipids, and proteins. And the water-soluble vitamins are not stored long-term, so usually excess are excreted in the urine pretty rapidly, although it is possible to overdose on the B vitamins. Say if you drink like 5 or 6 monsters every day for a long time, you might end up overdosing on the B vitamins inside the monster drink. Vitamin C, ascorbic acid, is a very important vitamin. Helps in production of collagen, which is an extremely important protein involved in the metabolism of amino acids, in iron absorption, and in the synthesis of cholesterol-based hormones. So all these steroid hormones originally were cholesterol, but instead cholesterol got modified to become those steroid hormones, and vitamin C helped out in that. You probably get all the vitamin C in the diet you consume because vitamin C is added to everything, so you don't really need to take excess vitamin C. All right, there are all these health supplements out there, and almost all of them are completely unregulated. The only thing they have to do is not kill people, so a lot of them don't actually do what they're supposed to do or what they say they do, so you really can't trust most of them. So you really want to find proof before you start taking some sort of health supplement. However, almost everything found in a health supplement can be found in food. So you could just eat a healthy diet and never have to worry about the health supplements at all. In addition, there are some scams out there, airborne And emergency, these are scams. They do not help keep you well. They overload you on things you don't need and do nothing to help keep you from getting sick. Scam. All right, so how do you decide what health supplements would be good to take or not take? How to interpret the various information out there? Well, it's tough, but there is some resources out there that can give you good information about variety of foods and health supplements. Um, so, for instance, there are claims that say garlic is good for you, and that seems to be true. Garlic seems to be pretty good for you. Same for vitamin D, dark chocolate, fish oil a little bit. Green tea, for some reasons, some is really good, but green tea for other reasons is not. So sometimes something that's been around for a really long time, like green tea, has a ton of things associated with it. Some of them are true, and some of them aren't. So again, you'll need to do your research to figure out if such a supplement or such a dietary component like green tea or garlic is worth the effort. Minerals. Minerals are inorganic, aka derived from the soil. They're also micronutrients. We've heard of lots of them: zinc, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, chloride, sodium, iodine. There's a ton of them. And they're essential for many metabolic functions. And they're also responsible for about 4% of our body weight. A lot of that found in the bones and teeth. What mineral is found in bones and teeth? Calcium, yeah. So calcium adds up in our body. Many of these minerals get incorporated into larger compounds or with proteins. Some of them, though, act as free ions. We know sodium, calcium, chloride all act as free ions. Minerals can do lots of things. They can be part of an enzyme, such as the iron in hemoglobin. They can be a part of structural materials in the cell. They can contribute to osmotic pressure of the blood so that water will want to enter the blood. And they have roles in nerve impulses, muscle contractions, coagulation of blood, maintenance of pH. So they can do a lot of different things. Here is some of the major minerals. Just be familiar with the minerals. You don't need to know anything else about them except that they exist and they're important. And since these are all things we've talked about in the past, you just need to know they're called minerals. Here's some additional minerals that we don't need as much of. Again, you don't need to learn this figure, just, recognize a few of them, like iron, iodine, zinc. There is a lot of research into what it is we need to eat and at what relative amounts. Used to be the food pyramid. Now they have the My Plate, basically showing that the largest portion of your food should be vegetables. So green vegetables like spinach, broccoli, red and orange vegetables like squash, carrots, beans and peas, some corn, lima beans, green peppers, onions. So basically, vegetables should be the biggest portion of your diet. That's followed by fruits. You should eat fruits as well. Lots of lovely fruits here. And grains, not as big a portion as you would expect, but yes, you should still eat grains, rice, buckwheat, oatmeal, popcorn. Whole grains are best. Whole wheat would be better than processed wheat. You should eat a small amount of meats and nuts and seeds and beans and peas. And then a smaller amount of the dairies, cheeses, milk-based things. So that is how they recommend your diet be broken up. All right, body mass index is a number. It is a ratio to determine, give an idea if somebody is of adequate weight, overweight, or obese. Basically, there's this math that's done, your weight over your height squared, I think, and you can do that if you go to this link. It will plug in some information and it will tell you your BMI. And here's what's considered normal and healthy is 18.5 to 24.9. Then you got overweight, obese, severely obese, morbidly obese. However, one complication though, sometimes it can give the wrong idea. So if someone is super, super physically fit, then they got all that heavy muscle in their body. And so they might have a really high BMI, which would be the same as someone who's severely obese, and yet they are not clearly obese. And again, just remember the BMI is just a number, and people can be overweight or obese and still be relatively healthy. All right, malnutrition. Malnutrition is poor nutrition, often leading from a lack of essential nutrients or the inability to use them. Malnutrition can come in also the form of undernutrition and overnutrition. So this little comic here shows all poverty in lots of parts of the world leads to undernutrition, people starving, not getting the sufficient amounts of food regularly. Poverty in America is often the opposite, where people are getting way too much food of poor quality because it's cheaper. Sometimes scattered amongst it periods in which they don't get enough food to eat, but overall getting way too much food that is highly processed and not very healthy. And then there are various signs of nutritional deficiencies. You don't need to know these, but it's kind of interesting. Zinc deficiency, ridges and spots on the nails. Cold hands could be a sign of magnesium deficiency. Bags and dark rings under the eyes could be from food intolerances. Swelling, thyroid swelling could be from iodine deficiency. Bleeding gums could be from vitamin C deficiency, which I doubt anyone would have in America. Anyway, it's kind of interesting. And that is it for chapter 15.